What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you guys got a good start to your week. We got the brand new fusion for Yukimasa starting right now, or at least started a couple hours ago, so I apologize for the late schedule. It's 4:30 in the morning, so rise and grind, I guess. We got the gear enhancement tournament or event going on, as well as the dragon tournament. And the dragon tournament is 20 to 50, so it's a pretty standard dragon tournament. Let's jump into the fusion calendar and break it down further for you guys over there. All right, guys, so we got the fusion calendar here for Yukimasa, Demon of Ice. We did a couple showcases on this guy. Make sure you guys check out some of the showcases. I'll provide the links in the description. But yeah, he seems like a very versatile champion. He does a bunch of stuff as well as damage. So he could be definitely very useful for a lot of accounts. Although I was not particularly impressed with him in any particular area, he does do quite a lot. And I will be going for this champion. So right now it's Monday. We're starting off with the Dragon Tournament as well as the Gear Enhancement event. And it looks like the fusion is going to last until the 31st. Now keep in mind that it's going to be a time limited fusion, so make sure you guys fuse this champion before the end of the entire fusion event. We can't save him for future events, so just a big disclaimer right at the beginning so you guys are aware. This is going to be a traditional fusion, which means you have to collect all of the rare champions, level them up, make them 4D, fully ascend them, level them up, and then fuse them into 4 epics, which you will then level up, fully ascend, and then up to 50, and then level up and fully ascend, and then fuse them into Yukimasa before the timer runs out. So that's what a traditional fusion will be. The good thing about these kind of fusions is that you could potentially pull the champion from a shard. The bad thing about these fusions is that Plarium has been giving us void rares for I don't remember how long, but for a long time now they've been giving us void rares to collect, which are not easy to collect. You have to get them from void shards, unfortunately. But the epic is a non-void, which makes it a little bit easier to get, but still it's very difficult. So when I say all that, just means not many shortcuts that we can take to finish off this fusion. Let's quickly go over the standard stuff here in this fusion here. So we got the standard classic arena stuff. So that's going to be done, automatically done. We got 2 of those, very standard stuff. We have how many gear enhancement events? So we got 1, 2, 3. So each one of these gear enhancement events just going to cost you between 15 and 20 million silver. Pretty standard stuff. If you don't have 15 or 20 million silver, don't worry yet. Usually you can get that silver while you're grinding daily. But we got 3 of those gear enhancement events as per usual. Let's go over the first couple days here. So we got the Dragon Tournament. It's going to be a couple days before the Gear Hunters events open. So you're basically just going to be, you're probably going to be running just normal energy for the first 2 days. On the 3rd day, we're going to get a little bit of Gear Hunter credit here. So the Dragon Tournament, all of these dungeon tournaments take about 2200 to 2500 energy, depending what level you are farming. Ideally, the most efficient level is level 20. And then if you want to do, for example, hard 10, for example, it's going to take you a little bit more energy to complete, but you're going to get better gear. In general, these Gear Hunter events take you about 5500 energy to complete. So you have to find that 5500 energy over 3 days. This is where gems and inbox energy, clan boss energy, sorry, not clan boss energy, but Doom Tower energy, Centranos energy, all those stages with energy. This is where you're going to have to cash them in and use them for the Gear Hunters event. Now, you're not going to get too much dragon credit for it, but you're going to get a little bit. So make sure you save a little bit of the dragon for the Gear Hunters. Although it's not particularly super important to save it, but you're going to need to use that energy anyways. Otherwise, you can spend most of that energy in the Ice Golem tournament. Now, that's a lot of energy to go into the Ice Golem tournament. Not a lot of people like Ice Golem. But like I said, these event tournaments are only going to cost you about 2.5k energy. So you're going to have to put a bunch of energy in something else if you want, which is totally fine. We do have CVC happening on Tuesday to Thursday. So definitely going to be some increased dungeon activity there. You could jam some dungeon activity into the last day of the Gear Hunters. Also starting at the same time as the Ice Golem tournament is the Champion Training Tournament. Now you can actually double dip here, which is great. You actually triple dip with the Gear Hunters. So that means you could farm some food. So for example, Ice Golem, you could bring some food with you and then get some gear hunter points as well as training points as well. I think generally for Ice Golem, probably people would probably farm normal dungeons, maybe do 20, bring a couple food in. You're gonna need but a couple champions can actually do it for Ice Golem. Priest Ornn is a good one, bringing poisons, not particularly fast, but these are tournaments that don't require you to go very fast, so definitely consider champions that can farm food at the same time. This is how you build up food while efficiently using your energy. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. Yes, it's not the fastest, but if you can kind of do it in the background with the game on, then it doesn't matter how long it's going to take, or do it overnight while you're sleeping or whatever, or when you're at work. And that's going to lead into this weekend. It's just going to be a standard summon rush. So the summon rush here, we do have the option for the epic, which is good. It gives us the option, right? Because it's the holiday season, it's always good to have a little bit of a backup. In terms of shard spending, fully expecting this summon rush to be the standard 6 sacred shards worth of points, about 3,000 points, maybe 3,100, 3,200. That's been what Plarium has been kind of doing to us lately, 6 and change, basically what I think about it. And then for the summon rush for the epics can be anywhere from 9 to 12 sacred shards. Somewhere probably around 10 or 11 is the average nowadays. So I would say between 9 and 12 sacred shards for this guy. So keep in mind that if you pick up the epic, it gives you a little bit of flexibility. The epic is worth 4 rares, obviously. So that means that if you can get the epic, you can basically have a choice of skipping a bunch of events later on. It does give you a bit of flexibility, as mentioned. So just something to consider. It's not something for everybody because it's quite expensive. Personally speaking, you might get okay value by doing the epic. But keep in mind, like I said, this is a traditional fusion, which means you can fuse the epics during the champion chase. Now, it's confirmed that we do have a champion chase in the back half of this fusion, which is very standard. We have a summon rush, we have a champion chase. And for a classic fusion, we can fuse the epics during the champion chase. This gives us a bunch of free points, right? So as we do that, we get a bunch of free points. So we don't necessarily need to skip all of this stuff, right? Because the champion chase could be much more easier to finish up. Now, in terms of overall value, if you're paying 11 or 12 sacred shards for the epic, it does allow you to skip a bunch of stuff. So if you're low on, for example, energy, if you're super low on silver, if you're super low on time, the epic definitely could have more value. But if you're looking at it purely from a shard standpoint, or shard spending standpoint, going for the epic and then saving potentially, it's not even a guarantee that you're going to save a lot, but potentially you might be able to save some shards by not doing the champion chase, because that's usually a top target to kind of skip if you're already doing an epic in a summon rush. That's not necessarily true here for the classic fusion type of fusion, because you can fuse a bunch of epics in the champion chase. So I think for me personally, I probably would recommend against doing the epic if you have the resources, as I mentioned earlier, to complete the other events. So I would say 6 sacred shards for the summon rush, and then we will keep moving forward here. We do have this interesting double champion training rares coming in the champion training. So there's going to be two rares in that training event. It's a pretty long one. It looks like 4 days. I think 4 days is pretty standard nowadays. So we got 4 here. And then you notice that there's actually going to be only 2 Gear Hunter events. So only 2 Gear Hunter events posted, which means that this block of time around here, around Christmas time, well, sorry, actually, it wouldn't be overlapping here. Let me get on this. Somewhere between the end of the first Gear Hunters and the start of the second Gear Hunters, there's a bit of a gap here where there's no third Gear Hunter event. So this would be kind of a good spot for Plarium to kind of put in a special event. So this is kind of what I was talking about in my previous video, where I was thinking there's going to be a guaranteed champion sometime during the fusion, and my guess was Hilva or Cecilia. Like, they are the brand new champions that are coming with the fusion patch, and personally speaking, they would be my top picks for a kind of special guaranteed champion event. Now, the fact that there's only 2 Gear Hunters in this fusion makes me heavily suspect that in this red area between the first Dungeon Divers, first Gear Hunters event, and the second Gear Hunters event, there's probably going to be another Gear Hunters event for a special champion, and I'm thinking it's going to be a Deck of Fate. Now, what other event could be tied into this third Gear Hunters event for this mysterious Deck of Fate or mysterious secret event? My thinking is that if they are going to do shards plus Gear Hunter, it's going to start here at this point at the end of the Summon Rush. So Monday to Thursday, this could be the special deck or special event. I'm just gonna call it deck. It's most likely going to be a deck. I guess it could be a Hero's Path, but we can just call it special event. If it's going to be shards plus Gear Hunter, then it's going to be starting right after the first Summon Rush. Now, something could start potentially as soon as Saturday at the end of the first Gear Hunters, and that could be, you know, for example, not shard related, but it could be Gear Hunter plus something else. But what it can't be is it can't be training. So it can't be Gear Hunters plus training because we do have a bunch of training events happening here. So there's not, we don't usually don't overlap, right? So the special events don't overlap with the other events. So the only reasonable, only reasonable events that could be part of this special event is Gear Hunters. That's going to be basically a certainty, and shards. Now the other thing that it could be is Soulstone, because Soulstones don't really fit into how fusions work, right? So for example, a Soulstone plus Gear Hunter Deck of Fate, heavily suspected here for Monday to Thursday, or it could be shards. It could be another shard event for Monday to Thursday, or it could even be Tuesday to Thursday, you know, following Plarium's usual kind of Tuesday progressive schedule. And this is going to go over the Christmas holiday. Now, the other big thing is that over Christmas, we're seeing what? We're seeing 4 days here, right, for Christmas. So there has been a year where they boost every shard again. 2x boost on all shards. Last year, it was 2x boost on primal shards. This year, we just had 2x boost on ancients. And prior to that, we just had a 2x boost on everything. And then prior to that, we had a 2x boost on Sacred Shard. So we haven't had 2x boost on Void Shards for a long time. So this weekend in the back half, it could be Void Shards. It could be Void Shards. Or it could be anything. It could be anything. So it could be Void Shards here. And that's going to work out pretty good for a Champion Chase, right? So Void Shards for a Champion Chase, it's going to work out pretty good. But over Christmas, it really could be anything that they want to choose. And that will make things a little bit easier for the deck if it's shards plus Gear Hunters. Like I said, if it's going to be Soulstone plus Gear Hunters, it's going to be a really tough situation for players because, you know, not everyone's going to have a lot of Soulstones to put into a Deck of Fate, especially for a champion. But if it's going to be shards and gear related, Gear Hunters, then it's not going to be too bad because they're most likely going to have some kind of boost over Christmas. Like I said, last year was 2x primals, and the short duration between the primal events happened last year as well. So there was one during Black Friday. There was a 2x boost for primals last Friday, Black Friday as well, and then they had one basically a month later during Christmas. So the fact that the last 2x primal event was only a month ago doesn't really matter in this case. It could definitely be 2x primals again. It could be 2x everything again, or there could be, you know, a progressive as well. I believe the year before that was 2x voids over Christmas with a progressive as well. So just some ideas here, but usually they have some kind of 2x boost over Christmas, and we probably will have a mysterious event here. My guess is for a champion. Just something to prepare for. We do have 2 rares in this training event here that does overlap a little bit with Spider and another Dungeon Diver event. So you could do some potential triple dipping here as well. So you can farm Dungeon Diver points, you can farm training points as well as Spider points here as well. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys save up all the rares to fuse into the epics for the Champion Chase. It should be a minimum of 750 points easily gotten there. You could save all your remnants that you're getting from Centranos, from the Grim Forest. You can save all those remnants for the Champion Chase as well. Get a couple extra pulls here from the Champion Chase. And we're most likely going to get 2x voids on the Champion Chase tournament here. if they kind of keep up with the schedule. But honestly, the schedule is kind of still in flux, so they could definitely do anything here. I won't, obviously you don't expect 2x Ancients here because we just had 2x Ancients, so I'm going to rule that one out. And then prior to that, we just had 2x Sacreds, so most likely ruled out. But that was a while ago. But I feel like 2x Voids was a long time ago, so we'll probably expect that either in the middle of the week or on the weekend, either of which will be fine. Something else to keep in mind as well, and this is another reason why you should probably avoid doing the epic for this upcoming Sun Rush, is because the champion chase is near the back half of the tournament, which near the end of the near the end of the fusion schedule. Sorry, near the end of the fusion schedule. It has the potential to roll over into another event. So, for example, a Titan event could start potentially here and then roll over, and potentially there could be Titan points in the champion chase. So you never know, but that's just another thing to look out for, and another reason why I would probably skip the epic if you can do so. We've had these situations in the past where Titan events would start during the tail end of a fusion, and then have some of the events leak into the fusion events. So you could see like the champion chase with a rare plus Titan points for whatever Titan event that's starting. We do have a Alien versus Predator collab that's happening right now, so you don't expect another collab, but definitely Titan event could start right away. I would suspect the 5-star soul for Yukimasa to be in a singular event as opposed to its own Titan event. Or who knows, or it could be a Titan event for another champion, for example, since we didn't have a Titan event for a champion in December. So it really could be anything. But yeah, January, we still have the ongoing collab, so we're not too sure what's going on beyond this fusion. Just speculation. But I think big takeaway here is that this fusion looks relatively straightforward. We have a kind of a dead spot here for the Fire Knight champion train in the middle of the week around the start of Christmas. But I heavily suspect it's going to be a guaranteed event. Verdict's out on whether it's shard or dungeon diving, but for sure it's going to be dungeon diving. But I think it's probably going to be soul stones, to be honest. Soul stones, dungeon diving, deck of fate. That's going to be my guess here. And I think it's going to catch a lot of people by surprise. We're probably going to have shard related events as well, boosted events for Christmas. It would be really nasty to boost shard events and then not have it go towards another event like a deck of fate. So if the deck of fate is just soul stones, you grinding dungeons, it's kind of like it doesn't feel good when you're pulling shards and you're not getting credit for it in an event. So it would not feel good. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully it was informative. Hopefully it gives you guys a heads up on everything. Like I said, the first 2 days dungeon diving is not active, so we're just going to be doing dragon tournament and gear enhancement for over the daily energy, and then we do have CVC happening, so you guys can level up your gear and all that. But there we have it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching until the end. Let me know in the comments below if I missed anything or I miscalculated something. Let me know what you guys think this mysterious event is going to be around Christmas time. Have a great start to your week. Have a great start to your fusion if you guys are going for it. Thanks for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next video.